let's dive into one of the most famous opening chapters in all of literature, Genesis, chapter 1. Now, it's a story most of us think we know, right? But what if I told you it's not really a simple 7-day countdown, but something more like a sophisticated architectural blueprint for the entire cosmos? So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll try to reframe what Genesis 1 actually is. Then, we'll journey from this primordial chaos to cosmic order, and we'll uncover this brilliant poetic structure that's kind of hidden in the 6 days. After that, we'll look at the unique role given to humanity, and finally, we'll get to the story's true and maybe surprising climax. Okay, so to really get this, we have to start with the right question. And it's not, is this scientifically accurate? The real question is, what kind of story is this, and what is it trying to say? You know, for centuries, a tiny mistranslation of this very first line hid a really crucial clue. Scholars now understand that the original Hebrew uses what's called a when-then structure, and that was a super common way to start ancient origin stories. This is key because it first describes the chaotic before state, and that sets the stage for the creative act that's about to happen. And that brings us to a huge point. Genesis 1 isn't trying to be a modern science textbook. It's a totally different genre of writing, what scholars call a cosmogony. Think of it as an ancient narrative built to explore these deep theological and philosophical questions about the world we live in. Right. So the whole point of a cosmogony is to explain the meaning and the structure of the universe, not its chemical makeup in a scientific way. It's answering the why and what for, not the how in some literal historical sense. And where does this particular story come from? Well, scholars believe this account comes from a tradition with a very specific focus. They call it the priestly source. And the big emphasis here is on a god who brings this beautiful, orderly universe out of total chaos, not through some epic cosmic battle, but simply by speaking. The core message is all about divine intention and goodness. So how does this divine blueprint actually unfold? Well, the story's central theme is God establishing order where there was absolutely none. This story opens by painting a picture of the problem. The canvas isn't just blank, it's a chaotic, undefined mess. The earth is without form or shape. There's just darkness over this deep abyss and a powerful wind sweeping over the waters. It's a world just waiting for structure. So the narrative presents God stepping in like a divine architect. The job isn't to create something from absolute nothing, but to take this formless, chaotic raw material and build a purposeful, life-sustaining cosmos from it. And this is where the pure genius of the text really starts to shine. The 6 days aren't just a random to-do list. They follow this incredibly deliberate and elegant blueprint. The first 3 days are all about creating the spaces, the fundamental realms of existence. On day 1, you get the realm of time with the separation of light and darkness. On day 2, the realms of the sky above and the waters below are separated. And then on day 3, the realm of the earth appears, already with vegetation. Now, watch what happens next. The next 3 days are all about filling those exact realms. So on day 4, the sun, moon, and stars are placed in the realm of light and darkness. Day 5, birds and fish are created to fill the sky and the seas. And on day 6, land animals and humans are made to live on the dry land. And here, when you put it all together, the poetic structure becomes brilliantly clear. There's this direct correspondence. Day 4 fills the realm from day 1. Day 5 fills the spaces from day 2. And day 6 populates the land from day 3. It's just an incredibly tight and elegant literary design. So the takeaway here is that this parallelism shows us we're not just reading a simple chronicle or a lab report. We're reading a sophisticated poem about a universe built with intention, symmetry, and a deep, profound purpose. Now, inside this amazing structure, the final act of day 6 introduces humanity, which is presented as the absolute pinnacle of the physical world. Let us make human beings in our image, and this phrase is absolutely central to understanding the role that's being given to humanity in this story. To its original audience, this phrase was, and I mean this, revolutionary. In the ancient Near East, only kings and pharaohs were ever called the image of a god. They were the divine representatives on earth. Genesis takes this exclusive royal language and applies it to all of humanity. It's this radical statement about the inherent dignity and purpose of every single person. And with this royal status comes a job description, a mandate, if you will. Humanity is given two main commands. First, to be fruitful and multiply, to continue the creative process. And second, to fill the earth and subdue it, which really means to take responsibility for creation and act as benevolent rulers, managing it on God's behalf. But the story doesn't end on day 6. No, there's one final act that completes the entire structure and reveals its ultimate purpose.
Everything in this story builds to one number, 7. In the ancient world, the number 7 symbolized completion, perfection, and holiness. The 7th day isn't just tacked on at the end, it's the climax of the entire week.
This Sabbath rest isn't about God just taking a break. It's the final capstone on the divine architecture. This is the moment the whole structure is declared finished, it's consecrated as holy, and it's celebrated as very good. It establishes this rhythm of work and rest that's built right into the fabric of the cosmos itself.
So in the end, Genesis 1 offers us this vision of a cosmos that isn't the product of random chance, but a masterpiece of intentional design, a world built on order and just filled with purpose. And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. What does it mean to live in a world and to see our own place in it through that kind of lens, as something intentionally designed to be very good?